इसमें प्रॉफिट हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, अच्छा हो रहा है तो कितना हो रहा है, कैन यू ऑप्टिमाइज इट.
अरे यार, each person is unique.
So the best judge for value is money.
There is a lot of planning, scheduling, coordination issue. We want to eliminate, reduce the time a company spends solving this issue.
Educating the client is the main challenge that you have had to dodge.
No, education is one thing, but then what happens, that client churns because he doesn't have the experience, right?
How does this directly help the company?
First of all, we are helping with the bottom line.
There is increase of transparency in the company.
Being a single founder company, you also need to have a team.
I still don't think that's a complete answer.
Yeah, the most interesting part of this is I was connected with you guys through Nitish. I didn't know about what you guys are doing, but when I checked out your videos, are very interesting. So thumbs up to Nitish, and I hope that you get more such recommendations. The world is in turmoil because most of the agencies or professional services out there, what they are doing is they have sales team and operations team, and all of these teams have a coordination issue between them. So, for example, the sales team doesn't know operations mein kya chal raha hai, who is doing what, and the operations team doesn't know what was communicated from the customer to the sales team. So, we basically at SmartTask are solving this problem. We, in short, what we do is we help companies, specifically agencies and professional services firms out there, track and manage their workflows processes. And while we do that, our aim is also to eliminate, as I earlier said, eliminate and reduce the time they spend in planning, scheduling, and coordination. We are also working on version 2 of our application. तो यहाँ पे हम basically क्या कर रहे हैं version 2 में, we are also getting a lot of AI features. Now this feature specifically will help us achieve this goal. So till date, what was happening is we used to utilize deterministic code to achieve what we want to do, but now AI is helping us also, apply NLP and things like that to solve this problem.
Let's take it one step at a time. Whatever you said was very heavy. Let's try to explain it to someone who is not very versed, like not very well versed with all of this. Efficiency, what does that mean? How are you making it better? How is it linked with time? And what do you mean by workload?
So when you look at an agency, right? Let's take an agency use case. So if you look at an agency, they are working on 40, 50 projects at a time. They have different teams working on different projects, and a single project manager may be working on 10 different projects out there, right? The problem is when a project is being executed, they may have planned earlier, okay, this is how we are going to do it, task one, task two is dependent on task one, so on and so forth. But when there's a delay in, say, task two, all of the tasks which are going to happen next are going to be delayed. At the same time, now this project manager is running, say, 10 projects at a time. One project may delay hua, it's also going to affect the other projects because a person can only work 8 hours in a day, right? So this is the problem which we are trying to solve. What we are trying to do here is if there is a delay in a particular project, at least the project manager is aware about it. As of now, most of these agencies utilize spreadsheets, Google Doc, maybe some CRM integrated with a project management tool. Because of all of this, their information is divided across different tools, different docs and stuff like that. What we do with SmartTask is we first of all we have a design CRM, we have a project management tool, we also have capability of integrating your docs, your spreadsheets, so that everything in one place. Instead of you going and checking what is happening in different tools, applications, everything is first of all in one place. Two, they are now able to see, okay, ये project कहाँ पे पहुंचा, who is doing what, where is it stuck, and what we need to do to move it forward. Now, this is at a one project level, right? But at a higher level, they also have a view of their portfolio. Portfolio is like where they will be able to see all of their projects which are ongoing, right? So they will be able to see, acha, ye project, maybe it is overdue, maybe it is not. And if it is overdue, then what we are doing to solve this problem. So that is what we address.
How does this directly help the company though? Okay, fine, I have a visibility of whatever is happening. I feel a lot of businesses don't understand the meaning or the value behind this visibility. So how does this visibility actually help the company? Let's talk in terms of money. How does it help the company in terms of money? Does it save money, make more money? How does it go?
First of all, we are helping with the bottom line. And what I mean by that is, let's say a company is doing its work and they have multiple projects ongoing. Sometimes they will put some team which is cost heavy for them, right, on a particular project. One. Now that is the visibility helps us understand, okay, hey, we put in this person in this project, but now this person is setting up the profits that we will be gaining out of it. So we also will be having that visibility, अच्छा इनका billing ये होने वाला, ये project का billing ये है, but हमारी cost ही is X, right? So if the end billing is Y minus X is a profit, but if you don't track X, you don't know what the profit is going to be, right? So first of all we help them understand कि इसमें profit हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है. अच्छा हो रहा है तो कितना हो रहा है? Can you optimize it? So that is once they are able to understand this, they also start optimizing to make more profit. बट अगर आप ट्रैक ही नहीं कर रहे हो कि आप कितना कॉस्टिंग हो रहा है, तो फिर हाउ डू यू ऑप्टिमाइज, राइट? So this is one part of it. The second part, okay, जैसे so this is the billing part, the costing part, the budgeting part of a project. But then there is also a client interaction, a client experience part. So for example, let's say I am a digital marketing firm. I serve my clients, and my client asking my account manager, hey, what is the status of my project? Where is it stuck? Why is it stuck? I'm not getting any updates. तो अभी क्या होता है, वो अकाउंट मैनेजर को ईमेल करता है. Account manager will then go to the operations team, and the operations team will then come back to the account manager saying, okay, this is where we are. Now, this is a lot of loop, right? But let's assume that the account manager was having this visibility. He will have immediately told the client कि हम यहाँ पे हैं, अरे sorry यार, मतलब I see that the operations team has not responded to you. This is the reason why they have not responded. Instead of the client waiting for 1 or 2 days to just get that reply.
I think what you're trying to say is there is increase of transparency in the company. Everything is more visible.
Right. Not only within the company, also for the client's end.
But the thing is, the company is the one who's seeing the data. Na? Client's end is dealing with what I'm telling the client. So today, if I am sitting at the manager level and a client is reaching out to me, because my visibility is increasing, I am able to relay that to the client. At the end of the day, earlier what was the case? You're saying I would have to go through 1 loop, 2 loop, 3 loop, then come back out and respond. Here, my visibility is increasing, so I'm able to respond better. So at the end of the day, it's my visibility that's increasing, not the client's.
Absolutely. It is your visibility which is increasing, but it's also affecting the client experience.
100%.
So one example I can add to like Vishw's thing. During my investment banking days, we used a tool called Made In, and Made In is a CRM. So what a CRM did is all the clients' conversations with any of the bankers within our team were recorded on Made In and then were summarized into bullet points. When they were summarized into bullet points, even when someone had a new child or someone's wife got pregnant or someone had some kind of an anniversary, the date would be there. Right before the call, we were able to understand the client, top to bottom, and not just in terms of a personal relation, even on the front of what was the margin talked about last time, what were the percentages talked about. There is very established clarity between the conversation between me and the client and between the rest of the team and the client. But the next question becomes that Made In exists, HubSpot exists, Salesforce exists, Zoho exists, Asana exists, XYZ. Now there are so many names. Why does Smart Task exist?
Perfect. So I was hoping for this question. I knew a lot of because whenever we talk with different clients, no, we get this question. Yeah, मतलब what is different about your tool? Why should we buy your tool? So we have over the years, our product decisions, our product, roadmap has been framed in such a way that we are a perfect fit for an agency or someone who is into high tech projects, consultancy, integrated services, something like that. Why we are perfect fit for them is, so you take an Asana, right? Asana needs to get integrated with your HubSpot. Then only you get full visibility. Now there is always a friction of getting that integrated. Even if you get that integrated, your sales team is still, going to follow up with your operations team internally with some other tool, say Slack, right? What we are trying to do here specifically for an agency is agency को सबसे पहले तो they don't want to be on so many tools because already they are resource constrained. They are trying to increase their profitability and they are always seeing churn internally. So utilizing so many tools, they want to simplify their life. So what we offer to the this agencies or professional services firms is a single tool जहाँ पे एक different CRM मिल जाता है, एक work management tool मिल जाता है, you have a communication platform internally, and at the same time we also have a client portal built in. So for example, if the client, if an agency wants to offer a client portal where the client can create service requests, that is also possible. Acha, over that, we also do budgeting for them. Just as I said earlier, a project budgeting is important, then only you'll be able to optimize for it. So when we club all of these things together, that is where we have an edge. And that is why most of the agencies or high-tech teams prefer smart task and avoid utilizing the single tools out there because end of the day you'll have to integrate them. Acha. This is in the version 1 we had. In the version 2, what we are also doing is now bringing in intelligence to all of this data you have. Right? For example, now you take a management team. Management team typically doesn't have a lot of time. So what they typically do is they just go to the tool and they want to have an overview, immediate overview. अभी क्या होता है आप Asana ले लो, right? Asana you do have portfolio where it gives you overview of your projects. However, you want to understand as a management which team is currently lagging behind and why they are lagging behind. Can I do something as a management to help them out? बट वो इंसाइट आपको कब मिलेगा? आप जब उसमें क्लिक करोगे, वो प्रोजेक्ट में जाओगे, देखोगे यहाँ पे डिले है, अच्छा यार ये बंदे को हेल्प चाहिए, So that is where our intelligence in version 2 will help the agencies or the management get an immediate insight into where they need to concentrate and which is a team member or which is a team that needs a helping hand, right? So that is why these agencies or these professional services firms prefer us compared to other tools out there.
I still don't think that's a complete answer because Zoho still exists. And I feel like Zoho has all of these features built into it. And Zoho is an Indian company. What else could be the differentiating factor?
So, so this is so when we look at Zoho, no, just open it up. Let's say you are trying to create a task. The usability of Zoho may not be as simple as Smartas. Why I'm saying so is because in Smartas there is no save button. सेव बटन ही नहीं है. आप टास्क क्रिएट करो, कोई भी मॉडिफाई करो प्रॉपर्टी, ऑटोमेटिकली वो सेव हो जाता है. In most of the other tools, usability is also an issue. You don't want to end up training your team time and again. It has to be intuitive for the team also to get onboarded, right? And that is also one of the reasons why people would like to work with Smarters.
So usability was the reason that I brought it up. And I feel Vishwat will add to my answer. We were looking for a CRM and we have been looking for a CRM for so long. And continuously, the main issue has been usability.
Absolutely.
Whatever we get is like so difficult to understand, to set up, and then there are so many nuances, and then you need like a consultant from that firm to come in and actually help you out.
I think more than just a consultant from that firm to come and help you out, where we struggled the most was today I'm speaking to you. I have scheduled something on my Google Calendar. I have gotten your number through LinkedIn. I have messaged you on WhatsApp. There are 3 apps. Those 3 apps I am using regularly. I am using today, our main form of communication is WhatsApp. And I am comfortable enough going to my Google Calendar and creating an entry. However, now with any CRM, I have to do a third step of going and updating that CRM. That was where the bottleneck is coming in. That is where we are getting stuck.
Right.
Because we're like, why are we doing this? We are eventually doing this for our own good. And we realize that okay, yes, updating it is going to be good for us in the long run. The point is, in the short run, that updating is such a tedious task because it can't just be like something's reading if I'm giving it access to say our WhatsApp chat. It cannot read our WhatsApp chat and make a calendar invite that says we are recording with Shyamal on XYZ time at X.
And how much we wish it could, it will save us so much time,
And we
especially
have
in
spent
India.
hours. Like
Everything is WhatsApp in India, like at least for businesses.
today, we are 10 months into our journey. We have contact with about 70 founders, which means we have about 80 groups,
Not
which we are a
more.
part of. So 80 groups, keeping a track of 80 groups, replying to everyone, remembering names, previous conversations, where what ideas we had for them.
We have to
I
tag our
think
messages with like tags like idea or tag like AI driven image generation. Then we go to Signal or WhatsApp. Then we search AI driven image and then we have like 5 links. Okay, which one can we use or ideas? And then we have to go up, 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 up. God knows how many
I
times.
think WhatsApp is becoming its own mini CRM kind of a thing.
No, but let's play a game.
so. We even
So
tried WhatsApp CRM. WhatsApp has a lot of these plugins where they use WhatsApp
yeah,
CRMs and
doesn't
they
work.
were miserable.
Doesn't work.
So by the way, I personally tried out HubSpot for smart links. So in between, we also created a small tool called Smart Links. It was basically an SEO space. Um, and for that, I wanted to personally experience other CRMs out there. So Smarta has its own CRM, but I want to experiment with HubSpot, right? So I tried it out. The problem I faced there was कुछ भी save करना है, you click on it, it opens up a modal on the right hand side. There you update it, and then the bottom there is a save button. कुछ भी अपडेट करना है आप सेव बटन दबाओ. अच्छा एक प्रॉपर्टी अपडेट किया उसके लिए भी सेव बटन दबाओ. So it was very complex. So this complexity is also one of the reasons why most of the salesperson who are on field, no, they never update the CRM. चलो अपना तो अच्छा है, अपने तो ये मतलब कंप्यूटर के सामने बैठ के उसको अपडेट कर रहे हैं, but most of the people on field, no, they never update it because of this reason.
Now I want to play a game. So Hot Bistro comes to you and we tell you the exact thing we told you like 5 minutes ago. We have been facing this problem and you run smart task. How do you help us? Can you help us? Is there any method?
So from what I understand, in your case, you're specifically looking for a CRM, right? It's not internal work management at this time, but this is how we can help you out. For example, let's say your video production is also a project for you, a task for you. At the same time, you're also doing communications. You're also having communications with your founders, your partners, and stuff like that. All of that, having everything in one place, at least tracked out. For example, you were able to see, okay, these are the founders we talked to. These are the videos currently in the pipeline. This is the person who is supposed to do that, editing work. If that is all is mapped out, no, that is only how you will be having a complete overview of what is happening. Acha, overview is one thing. Having everything in one place means, for example, let's say you also want to include your vendor to edit a particular video, or maybe you want to do something specific, maybe some campaign. तो अगर वो वेंडर को भी इनवाइट कर रहे हो ना, तो वेंडर को भी सेम ही वर्क फ्लो पे, सेम ही वर्क प्लेटफॉर्म पे इनवाइट कर सकते हो. अभी क्या हो रहा है, मे बी यू विल बी सेंडिंग सम गूगल डॉक और स्प्रेडशीट टू दैट पर्सन एंड दैट पर्सन विल बी गिविंग दैट रिप्लाई इन एन ईमेल. तो मतलब ईमेल ईमेल खेलते खेलते एवरीथिंग गेट्स लॉस्ट एंड ऑफ द डे, राइट? There is no context left. So yeah, so the very first step we can do is maybe just enter what you are doing, take one process at a time, track it through smart tasks, and eventually everything will fall in place.
Shyamal, my basic question is today if I've reached out to you, okay, and you have told me, Vishrut, I am busy currently, or you have not responded to me. Like there is a Gmail plugin which says you sent this mail so much time back, you haven't received a reply, send a follow up. Or or this person has sent you a message, you haven't replied, please reply. Those kind of things. So today, if I'm having a conversation with you and the conversation got cut off for some reason, you were busy, I was busy, I've missed your message, you've missed my message, something. Can Smart Task provide me with something that says you contacted Shyamal 5 days ago, he has not responded to you, would you like to follow up with him?
Right. As of now, it is not so detailed, but what we do internally also, I will explain. So whenever our sales team calls someone, no, that call is recorded. First of all, most of the CRMs or most of the companies out there don't track their calls. Now, this is very important because once you start tracking the call, you at least as a manager, as a management level, you understand, okay, यार मतलब यहाँ पे शायद we lost the deal. When you listen back, you understand this is what he was asking. Maybe I didn't understand it, and that is why the deal was lost. So first of all, having tracking everything, that may be a conversation, that may be call, anything, you need to track it first of all. तो आप अगर वो ट्रैक करते हो, हमारा इंटरनली स्मार्टस्ट में ये है, जब भी आपने कॉल किया, whatever conversation was there, you just maybe note down 1 or 2 steps, and then end of it you set the next follow up date. मतलब आपको next अभी इसके साथ क्या कब follow up करना है. That is what we do. And then what happens is, whenever you log in, if I am a salesperson, I will be able to see, अच्छा ये मेरे इतने काम हैं आज. This is what is upcoming. This is what is still I need to still follow up. This is some tasks which are still pending on my end. So at least you have that visibility, and then you can take your whatever steps you want, and then add more information to that task that makes the communication history or the client history something where you can get an insight out of it. Otherwise, there is no insight. There you're not tracking anything. Your calls are not being recorded. तो insight कहाँ पे?
तो Shyamal, ये मुझे update, will I have to update this manually?
No, so as of now, yes, but in version 2, we are making it more intuitive. Just like as you pointed out, listening into the calls, making those notes, all of this will happen in version 2. In fact, version 1 में भी हमारा एक additional enterprise में ये facility है, but it is not available to everyone. But now with AI and now with the way the cost is coming down, we'll be able to offer it.
So let's dive into this Gen AI thing. You said Gen AI features, and Gen AI features usually means that it'll be able to read normal language, make sense out of it, and tell me what I need to do from here on. What exactly are the Gen AI features? How do they help businesses who are already on your platform, and how do they help businesses which will be on your platform in the future?
So I will give you an example. Recently, one of our clients came to us and asked, "Hey, we have executed 50 projects on your platform. How do we generate insights out of it?" Now, when they say insights, no, what they really mean is which are the tasks that are getting delayed typically. If they understand this is a task which is getting delayed, maybe there is some scheduling uh, duration that you need to change, or if the duration is proper, then there is some kind of a gap, maybe skill gap, maybe workload gap, some kind of limitation or constraint is happening, because of which this task is getting delayed. First of all, currently what happens, there are 50 projects, you have to go in each and every project and check that out. So with AI, what will happen is, this AI will now be able to go through each and every project, pick those similar tasks, and by end of it, जो भी डिले हुआ है वो सब टास्क को एक bundle up करके, then it will give you insight directly instead of you going into those projects and checking it out. So this is one way it will help. Then the regular ways, for example, let's say you want to create subtask from a task, तो वो हो जाएगा. Then, for example, you want to summarize a meeting you recently had, that is possible. These are very common things. But what I'm sharing with you, insights and intelligence, is what is going to really help companies out there. And this is what we are doing. We're going to give them a overview and intelligence on top of what they are currently inputting or adding data to the platform.
Shyamal, the funny part is now, we have done this entire cycle with machines. We know a certain machine, you run it for 8 hours, it needs 2 hours of downtime. Then you run it again for 8 hours, it needs 2 hours of downtime. Or for the ease of calculation, you do 10 hours and 2 hours, or something like that. Right? The thing is, with humans and with tasks that humans are doing, you don't have these set boundaries. You don't have this thing that today, say, you can work 8 hours a day, I can work 4 hours a day, Akhil can work 5 hours a day. It doesn't have these things built in. And if it does have these things built in, we are not walking around advertising it. So today, if someone's giving us a task, we're not handling it in that way that, okay, yes, we have this is our restriction, so we will schedule the task accordingly. We always say, okay, Shyamal can work 8 hours, let me give him 9.5 hours of work so that I can squeeze him out. Bistro usually does 4 hours, let me give him 5.5. That's his max capacity. So you're trying to squeeze out that every little inch, but whereas with a machine, after 10 hours, I have to shut it off or it will break down.
Huh.
So this the reason I'm making these points is because the two of us read this book a while back. It was I can't remember the name of the book. It was by Eli Goldratt, and it talks about identifying the bottleneck in your factory. So you identify the machine where if you increase the output of that machine, increase your the output of your entire factory increases.
So like a critical path in a way.
Yeah, but whatever it might be, a critical, non-critical, whatever it is. But the fact is, this is where things are getting stuck. If I improve this, everything increases. Similarly, what you're saying, it's like it's been hammering a bell in my head for the past 15 minutes that Shyamal's trying to say this, and I was like, this is what this guy has done for machines. And what you're saying is that for humans, let's understand what each factory or each company has, where is the task getting delayed, which task is constantly getting delayed, why is it getting delayed, so that you can form these perceptions that, okay, say it is a design task, it's getting delayed because there is not feedback coming through. So if there's feedback, so then we have to realize that we have to budget so much time for feedback, or we have to budget so much time for the creative juices to flow, or whatever it might be.
Sometimes it is a skill restriction also. Someone may not be as skilled as you want them to be. So there are a lot of things, but it is only when you identify कि अच्छा ये task है जो delay हो रहा है, then only you can do all of this, investigation in a way.
Oh, well, you see how we're going. We're trying to make people into machines. We're trying to put on off times on people. We're trying to gauge how creativity can work. A lot of creative people will come at me and be like, "You cannot put a time on the creative process." That's
No, no. So see, but end of the day, an agency is working, and it's basically company is there to make profit, right? Unless and until you start understanding who is able to give me that X when a client comes in immediately, then only you'll be making those profits, right? Then only your company will be growing. You have to understand it. We can say okay हाँ यार मतलब creative है तो हाँ वो time लगेगा all of that, but at least start tracking it. Once you start tracking, it's fine. Someone takes 2 more hours, it is better output, better quality. That's understandable. But if you, for example, even today, in when we are making version 2, no, so our design team, our engineering team, everyone is putting in their estimates. For example, a particular task is going to take this much time. It is quite possible that it may take more time, but at least you yourself know कि मैंने ये estimate लगाया था पर वो overdue हुआ. So at least, and when you do this, no, you will also start realizing what is the output you're giving to the company. What is my capability? Can I increase my capability? Acha, for example, this is a task where I'm getting delayed every time. Is it because of my limited knowledge in this space? Is it my limitation in skills? Right? So I'm doing it myself, huh, by the way. I myself put in my own estimates on task so that I can judge myself. Even though I have more, random things coming at me, ad hoc things, but at least I'm able to see, अच्छा हाँ यार मतलब ये मैंने estimate किया था वो ज़्यादा time लगा उसमें से. And why that happened?
so. One more thing that's popping into my head now. So I have this one session every week where we were going over Stephen Covey's thing for time management, and they talked about the 4 quadrants of time and mapping out your time, creating your time log, and things like that. So I did it for a couple of days. I was like, let's see what this is all about. And you realized how much time you're spending doing what activities. So there was the 4 quadrants basically were stuff that is important and urgent, stuff that is important but not urgent, stuff that is not urgent but important, and stuff that is not urgent and not important. So basically, things like someone standing at the door, it's not particularly important, but it is urgent because that person is standing at the door. Your phone's ringing, similar thing. So if you're reading a book or you're enhancing your skill set, it's a very important thing to do, but it's not urgent. However, like as you said, tasks for your job or you know a bunch of things that you do in your daily life are very important, very urgent. So similarly, I think what smart tasks you're trying to do is create that time log for the company. And you're like, acha, this is the time you're mapping out for yourself. How much time is being used?
Now, what I'm saying is, we don't track time for everyone, and it's up to the company if they want to track time. And it is not like we are screenshotting, taking screenshots of your screen. We are not doing that.
You're tracking time for the processes.
Yes, yes.
So rather than tracking employees' time, you're tracking time ki, okay, today someone has come to me and given me this task for which I am charging them money. Am I doing this on my promised time? If not, why?
What typically ends up happening, sometimes after the day has ended, you think, yeah, there is nothing I have done today. I cannot recollect one thing, you know. But when you go and look at your task list and you realize, hey, that was one task that I completed, but that task took a long time for me to complete, and then you feel satisfied sometimes. it is it is only when you recollect and when you see your list, अच्छा हाँ यार मतलब इसमें बहुत time चलेगा. This is the reason why it took so much of time.
So the best judge for value is money. And the people who are watching this episode are, we like to believe, people who are about to take the leap, about to open their own companies. Either they'll use your service or they'll become a competitor. So let's talk about competition. Are you making revenue? Have you been able to be profitable? And is there really a business given the amount of competition in the market?
Right. To be very frank, yes, we have faced competition and it is tough. It's a crowded market. People will say it is a red ocean. What we are now, so earlier when we started Smart Task, so I will tell you a little bit about my journey. First of all, I started Smart Task because after my college, uh, my father is by the way into business and he also runs his own business. So he was facing this issue. He utilized multiple tools within his own organization, and he was like, "Hey, यार मतलब एक tool होता जहाँ पे मैं सब कुछ देख सकता. It will be helpful. Why don't you create this?" And at that moment, I applied for foreign studies, so I said, "Okay, I'll make this." Uh, and it will also help me learn programming. तो मैंने उसको बनाया. And at that moment, my father suggested, why don't you go and meet business owners out there and get their feedback for the software? Maybe there is some business here. So I said, okay. I went and met a lot of business owners, got their feedback. Most of the thing what I'm looking for when I met these people was what they're currently utilizing and why are they not utilizing say an Asana, you know. So this is 2017, by the way. At that moment, Asana was very famous. No other tool, Clicker was not there. Um, so Asana was just picking up pace, not very well known in India. Most of the people I met were utilizing WhatsApp, Excel sheets to manage the day-to-day work. तो मेरे को तो लगा यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा गैप है. 85%, 90% people I meet don't utilize a tool. Maybe there's a gap. Over the time, what I have also
So how have you gone about figuring out this? You've spoken about that you have figured, like you are now figuring it out. You are niching down. You have your version 2 is going to be for X number of people. Let's talk about some of the instances that led you to this. Because you started saying it's a horizontal market.
Yes. So we started with the horizontal market, but as I said, what started happening is our marketing was very horizontal. What I meant by that is if someone will write a blog, they will today mention a digital marketing firm. Tomorrow they will mention a construction company. Now these are very different audiences, right? But what will happen is your blogs are talking about different audiences altogether. Now, if you want to tap into construction audience and they are coming into your blog and they are saying it is talking about digital marketing, अच्छा ये मेरे लिए तो है ही नहीं, right? So then they will not buy your tool because they have to feel that trust. They have to believe कि हाँ यार ये हमारे लिए बनाया हुआ है. तो वो ट्रस्ट जब तक नहीं आएगा they will not utilize whatever product you have. So this is one learning, and this was a very hard learning because it took us some time to realize this. It also took me some time to realize that not everyone is so well adapt to understanding different use cases very fast. People take their own time. So this has been my learning. So we look at it from founder perspective, right? तो फाउंडर को समझ में शायद आता होगा कि हाँ यार मतलब ये डिफरेंट यूज केस है, उनको अलग तरीके से पिच किया जाए, वो पर्सपेक्टिव अलग है. बट when you have a team member joining, then they may not have that perspective. It may take some time for them to have that perspective, right? तो ये लर्निंग धीरे धीरे इस तरह से आया है. And now we have realized if we are doing marketing, if you're writing a blog, let's talk about our ICP, not a construction company, not a software company, for example, but a consultant, but an agency, but a professional services firm.
What's an ICP?
So ICP is ideal customer profile. Um, so this is basically a group of people that you're catering your product to. Now, typically people define ICT by saying, I am selling to people who utilize their laptop and they have a company size of say 50, but that is not how you define ICT. You have to again niche down a little bit and understand कि हाँ यार मतलब 50 लोगों की कंपनी तो कंस्ट्रक्शन वाली भी हो सकती है, वो आर्किटेक्चर फर्म भी हो सकती है, वो प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज फर्म भी हो सकती है. What is the use case? What is the pain point you are solving? And that pain point corresponding with the ideal customer profile makes your positioning very strong.
So educating the client is the main challenge that you have had to dodge in terms of sales.
No, education is one thing, but then what happens? That client churns because he hasn't have the experience, right?
Correct. And I'll tell you why it is beneficial to you and why it might not be. So educating the client is the responsibility for the biggest giant in the room. Today, Zoho is doing X thousand crores in revenue. Zoho also had to educate their clients. When Zoho educated their clients in the requirement of a CRM or in the requirement of an ERP system or in the requirement of an inventory management system, that education comes back to haunt them if they go and get smart task, right? So that is your benefit. Their marketing costs are much higher than yours are at the moment. Maybe it switches in the future, but then their marketing comes back to you. So it is more beneficial to you than not. But what comes right behind that is something called switching costs. So switching costs are how difficult is it for me to switch from a Zoho to you, or to switch from a Maiden to you, or to switch from a Salesforce to you. From Salesforce, so it is almost impossible to switch out because of how well integrated you become. Is it difficult for people to switch to you? And is it difficult for people to switch out of your services if they don't like it? What is your view on that?
So switching costs are real, and you'll see as the company grows, people don't change their software much often. However, when you are looking at SMBs, they change their software a lot often, and all they need to do is export their data in CSV, import that data within Smartest, and they are done. Sometimes they what will they do is okay नया प्रोजेक्ट है नया प्रोजेक्ट इसमें करेंगे पुराना प्रोजेक्ट ठीक है वो खत्म हो गया you know so when you look at SMB, the switching costs are not so high, but when you look at mid segment and enterprise, they typically don't want to switch their softwares. Acha, this is also the case with us. We work with ABB, we work with Amul, we work with Adico. There's some MCs out there. This this segment, we are seeing the list churn out there. They don't switch their softwares. तो ये है तो मतलब it depends on the scale because when you switch you also have to onboard your users on a new software. तो मतलब वो ट्रेनिंग कॉस्ट भी है वो एजुकेशन कॉस्ट भी है इंटरनली देयर इज सम गैप a slack of time where you are shifting data so it's like as you grow you don't want to keep on switching softwares.
Continuity चली जाती है ना.
हाँ.
I know today I also come from like my family has a business and they have softwares which I made them switch 3 years back. Anytime they have to get data from before 3 years back, they have to go to the old software. The old software is not updated, but they still want access to that data, but they don't want to take the effort to switch that data over. So there is a whole process to that. So there is a massive challenge to switching. It took me a year and a half to convince them to switch.
People have not switched out of Microsoft, man, and their products are garbage. I don't know why people use Meet. Like huge companies are still using Meet. It is so trash.
I don't like teams too. Teams भी ऐसा ही है. I believe it is like no one should be utilized teams.
Yeah.
ये
Oh
इसको बोलते हैं
man.
ना अपने पैर पे कुल्हाड़ी मारना because we have been using meat since day one
I
and here we have Akhil
I
shitting on meat.
I meant Teams.
By the way, now since I've started utilizing Zoom, I don't like Meet a lot. The main reason being एक तो है कि वो एक टैब में रहता है. So you have to go and search which tab it was in. Multiple अगर आपके विंडोज खुल लें तो हर विंडो में जाके देखो कौन सा टैब ओपन था. अच्छा वो चलेगा बात होगी. But when you are in software and you are helping your clients and getting them on board, you sometimes want to have control of their screen. That is not possible in Google Meet. It is only possible in Zoom. तो ये है कई सॉफ्टवेयर में these are like inherent differences which you which help them keep their clients.
So the reason people are utilizing these softwares is because a lot of them are free, and a lot of them can continually be free. And SMBs, like small businesses, generally have trouble paying for softwares. Have you faced that? Are small businesses willing to pay you for your software?
In India, you ask for 10 rupees, they will bargain for say 4 rupees. I want to pay 4 rupees only. But it's understandable, it's understandable because if you see, टेली ने मार्केटिंग ऐसे किया था, यार 10,000 में सॉफ्टवेयर ले लो, पूरे बरस आप चला सकते हो टेली को, एंड यू ओनली पे 10,000 rupees. And then you have company called Smartask, a new company in the field, and then asking you to pay 1 lakh rupees per year. It is of course going to get their, you know गेम अस्टाउंडेड कि भाई यार ये इतना फर्क कैसे पॉसिबल है यार, टैली जितना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड सॉफ्टवेयर है, अकाउंटिंग सॉफ्टवेयर, नॉट चार्जिंग सो मच, बट देन ए सिंपल टास्क मैनेजमेंट, प्रोजेक्ट मैनेजमेंट टूल चार्जिंग सो मच, यार व्हाट इज so different, so this is the way we have been trained, क्या बोलते हैं उसको, our conditioning is such. And also not even, so sometimes it's also purchase parity. If you look at US um, companies, they are ready to pay you $10 easily. They will not even bargain with you. But that's not the case in India because the difference in US and INR is but obvious, and people want to save cost as much as possible. We are a cost driven society, whereas US values time so much. So ये difference है. And yes, I have faced this problem. Most of the SMBs will ask for discounts, but then we try and explain to them, here, see, if you are going from A to B, you can take a Mercedes or you can also take a cycle. It's your choice what you want to take. That is how we try and explain to them.
I think each person values what is not available to them. In India, there are so many people available willing to put in so many hours. तो हर एक बंदे की time की कोई value नहीं है. I remember Akhil told me this story that he was interning somewhere where it was told to them at the beginning that you have to work Monday to Friday, X time to Y time. Saturday, first week there, Saturday morning 6 a.m. he gets a call, can you come to office? Sunday morning 6 a.m. he gets a call, can you come to office? He was like, ये चल क्या रहा है? कोई value ही नहीं है. If you don't come to office, you are treated as someone who is not doing their part, but you're not getting paid any extra for it.
But then also means that my CRM can be an intern.
Also, there are different perspectives also here. I will say if you are working for a startup, you are expected to work extra. हाँ, मतलब आपको मतलब ऐसा भी वर्क नहीं करना है कि आपको संडे बुलाए, रात को बुलाए, ऐसा भी वर्क नहीं करना है. But if you are working at a startup, you should be working hard. Your aim should be to get their startup to grow as much as possible. But yes, if you are in an MNC, you should not be doing that. So it's a different game altogether. It depends on the company. It depends on what you want in life. So there are multiple things attached to it. Yeah.
That is why people call founders crazy, right? There is a reason founders have this tag कि यार पागल है कंपनी खड़ी कर रहा है. यार तुम लोग कैसे कर लेते हो? 7 दिन काम क्यों करते हो? रात के 10 बजे क्यों काम कर रहे हो? वो देखो, that is a completely different, like that is the 0.1% of people, slowly increasing, but there is a very very small number of people who are doing that because वो थोड़ा खिसका हुआ होना जरूरी है.
Shyamal, is India your market?
Well, so right now, yes, but we're trying to see how we can tap into US market. We are focusing on content marketing and all, but let's see how it goes. Right now, most of our customers are from India. 70% of our customers are from India.
Will there be a price discrepancy between the US and India?
But we will see. We want to. It's mainly because of you don't have to negotiate. They are ready to pay high. For the same level of value they are getting as the Indian clients.
Shyamal, talk us through your sales strategy then. How are you convincing someone by take me over Tally, take me over Zoho, pay me 10 times what you're paying for Tally, pay me whatever X number of times or similar amounts as Zoho.
We'll even take a script. Like if you just say your sales script here and sell it to us, let's go.
So I will not try and sell my sales script, but I will give you a framework what I'm trying to apply. As I said, we are not trying to educate anyone. Education मैंने वो गेम बहुत टाइम पहले छोड़ दिया. I used to do cold call, everything I have done, but I have left it behind. I will still say cold call works. But how much time are you going to spend there? Acha, what we are now, the framework we are trying to apply right now is we will offer you when you are ready. This software is there for you to utilize. It's a free forever version. No limits in terms of the number of users, tasks, or projects you want to create. Nothing. बट येस देयर आर सम फीचर लिमिटेशंस और हम सभी फीचर देते हैं फ्री फॉर ए वर्जन में सभी फीचर है not one single feature is logged for a client. What we do is instead, once they reach a certain limit of usage, we lock it. Now it is our time to say, okay, you utilize it for so much of time, you know the value, now you pay. And a lot of resources, those resources we don't have, we are a bootstrap company, and that is why we are going to focus on a segment who are ready to buy.
How do you decide someone is ready to buy?
So what now we have mixed panel. There's a tool called mixed panel that basically helps you track a usage of a particular client or a higher level. You want to see whether usage is increasing, decreasing over time. All of that you can check through product analytics tools like mixed panel. And what we now do is we see, okay, after a certain amount of time. So every month we do this exercise where we look at our mixed panel data to see, acha, who is utilizing our tool more. Is there a new user, a new company on the free version who we can upsell to? And then we call them and see whether they are ready to purchase a higher version. I I'm still a huge fan of cold calling and cold emailing. I still believe it works. I did that for smart lines, but every product is different, every market is different, and you have to play according to the market. In our market, I feel we should not spend much time in education unless we have a lot of resources. But it's not that cold emailing doesn't work, cold marketing doesn't work. It's just that we have decided on this route.
Shyamal, you're bootstrapped. Why are you bootstrapped? Tech companies are supposed to go out, get billions of dollars of valuation, and pick up a ton of money. Why not do that?
Because there is a ton of money required to develop products. You are saying you are in
Educate the
version
client.
to educate the client. You have to spend so much time trying to sell. There is like it's a packed market. Everyone is trying to build an app. Everyone's trying to build a product.
So we did raise a pre-seed round, but over time, what I have realized is being a single founder company, you also need to have a team, a core member team who is now ready to scale. If you don't have that core team, say you need to have a tech person who leads the tech team, you need to have a marketing person who leads the marketing channel. If you still are figuring it out, still getting those team in place, you shall not go and raise funds. And that is where we are. We are still, um, you know, working out our the right team member for the right role. And once we have figured it out, then we'll go and raise funds. And at the same time, this is one aspect of it. The second aspect is which is also that we also need to figure out and our positioning. We also need to come up with version to have that positioning on our website. Once the uptake in terms of registration start picking up, that is the right time to go to and look for funds. As a lot of people have pointed out, the best time to raise funds is not requiring those funds, right? So that is the time I'm waiting for, and I don't want to waste my time going and approaching investors and pitching them smart task when we know that we will be that they will be the person dictating terms. So that is my philosophy, and hopefully, let's see how it goes.
You know the really funny part, Shamal. People who have gone through the VC round, the VC rigmarole, or people who were VCs themselves and then have come into becoming founders often say this, that I do not want to give up control of my company. It's usually founders who do not know too much about how the VC world works who are like, hey, funding chahiye. So it's refreshing to hear this from someone who's not done either. It's like, you studied enough and you've spoken to enough people. You've done your homework clearly. I want to talk to you about uh, the whole process of training. Though you mentioned very early in the podcast that training is easy. This is more usable than other softwares. We recently spoke to someone who were like, when someone new comes to our office, it's a 3-month training process for them to get used to the way we work. She's also set up her own thing. She has her own set of workflows. She's done a lot of effort to try and make everything modular and all that. But with that comes a training curve. There's a very steep training curve, and that takes 3 months. So, what is your guys' training? How have you approached it? How have you managed to make things usable?
So, in our case, what we have done is we have listed out everything in detail in a doc. मतलब अगर आप marketing में join कर रहे हो, these are resources that you need to go through yourself whenever you get your time. Just go through these resources. This resource will first of all help you be at the level where we want you to be at. have the same view of world. Sometimes what happens is someone new joins in, they will say, "Acha yaar, isko change kar dete hain, let's change this, let's rip this apart, you do something new, let's step into the new channel." But you need to have the right perspective, right framework, and right understanding of what stage we are at, what we are trying to achieve, and what we have done earlier. So ये जो learning है ना, what we do, we put that everything in a doc, and it's like not one doc, it's multiple docs and multiple links to external resources that we need to go through. And it's a journey where they will take 10, 15 days, 30 days to just go through and understand what we have done till now. Once they have done it, then again we have SOPs in place on how to do X, how to do Y, how to do Z. Everything is in place. हाँ, अच्छा वो कोई नया role है, then we will expect to hire someone who has done it earlier, so that they will set up these processes, those documents, those SOPs they will form. So that is how we go about it. The biggest benefit we have had is writing down stuff, and this is what I also try and emulate internally in the organization is everyone has to write. राइट मतलब आप अपना प्लान बनाओ, आप आपने क्या किया वो कन्वे के टीम को करना है, तो नॉट थ्रू कॉल, नॉट थ्रू मीटिंग, बट राइटिंग इट डाउन. एसिंग कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए. वाई ऐसे एसिंग कम्युनिकेशन होना चाहिए? बिकॉज once you put it in writing, your clarity of thought also increases. You also know okay, what have missed out on. When you say to someone X and then you put out stuff verbally, you don't know what you missed out. And it's important. That is the reason why we have this culture internally where everyone writes. Especially I take that burden on myself. I put it across, अच्छा ये decision लिया था तो क्या reason थे उसके. So yeah. So when they join, no, they say, यार ये कितना लिखवा रहा है यार? Why are they asking us to write so much when I could have just called that person and explained my point? The thing is, a lot of time, new people coming in, if you know how to convey, because we are a remote company, by the way, if you know how to convey something verbally, put it in writing, and when the writing goes across, it may come out as a harsh, you know, that this person is very blunt. He doesn't know how to talk. There seems to be an ego in his written prose. This is also getting solved in a way. Now you understand. अच्छा मेरे को किसी ने इस तरह से भेजा तो I should not write it this way. And we also help them understand. I also sometimes when something like this happen, I explain to them. अच्छा इसमें context missing है. आपने बता तो दिया कि आप ए कर रहे हो, बी कर रहे हो, बट उसको क्यों कर रहे हो? Add that in. So that context now remains as a record for us, and someone looking at the decision also can realize, acha, this is why they have taken this decision.
My friend today literally told me, why do you type your messages in Hindi when you are so well spoken in English? And I told him that the only way to convey my feelings in a message is to type it in Hindi. I don't know how to do it elsewhere.
Similarly, I remember Akhil told me once कि I was struggling to write some messages, like just write it in Hindi, and I tried and tried and tried. I couldn't for the life of me get that word out in Hindi. I I did not know कि मैं बोलूं कैसे.
When I told him my opinion, he's like, bro, I can't type that.
like नहीं हो पाएगा यार.
That's a you problem.
Then there are different people also. Everyone has their own style of doing stuff. But then that will mean that you may not be a fit for a next company. I may not be a fit for Y company. So there are different people, different ways, different style of working, and that's fine.
अरे यार, each person is unique. You are, there is a reason you are doing something. I'm doing something. He is doing something else. Then like that is a whole other debate.
The Shyamal, I want some metrics on here. Can we get some number of users, number of companies, and if you can, what are your margins? How profitable is the business for somebody else to get it?
Right. So, well, Smartest has about 4 lakh users till date. We serve about 3,000 companies worldwide. About 4 lakh plus tasks have been created on the software. Then we work with companies like EBB, Edico, some of the MNCs we work with. Uh, yeah, so that in just is what Smart Task has been able to achieve. This is also, I will say, just the beginning, and we can do a lot more. We can streamline our software a lot. We can improve our software. By the way, I'm a coder, so I always point out, अच्छा हाँ यार मतलब ये product अभी भी अच्छा नहीं है, अभी भी अच्छा नहीं है. And I was always look at the faults instead of talking about the benefits of it. But, that's a story for another day.
यार जब कुछ खुद का होता है ना, जब कुछ खुद का होता है तो वो you have a perfect view of it and you keep trying to figure that out. So that happens to us so many times. We're editing, we're like, यार ये ठीक नहीं है. It might be a आधा second fault which nobody but us will notice
ever.
But हमें change करना है because we are putting it out there. It is playing on our mind, and it is a, like as I said, half a second thing which will take 1.5 hours to render and then upload. But नहीं, वो change चाहिए. तो वो भी we get it. I'm also a coder.
It's all about trade-offs. You are either trading on the time, you're trading on the quality.
Can we have the margins on here? What are your margins on your top line?
We are breaking one. As of now, I will see in a SaaS business, what happens is when you are just growing, you are not doing a lot of profits. But when you start growing, the profit increases rapidly. So, at this moment, we are break even. But as we move forward, those margins will automatically increase because the costs will remain constant while the number of users, the number of paying customers will keep on increasing. This is what typically happens in SaaS. So yeah, so right now we are at the break-even stage.
In India, very often SaaS companies do not end up working because of the subscriber model. They say Indians are the least likely to subscribe to something because when they do not see the value to it. Now, you say you have a platform where you track people's usage and you tell them that, okay, you've used this for so much time, you can purchase a higher model, or you've used this for so much time, you can do XYZ with it. You have a metric where you can track that this is the amount of time you saved, so this is the amount of money you saved, or this is the amount of money you earned, because technically money saved is money earned.
As of now, no, but it's something that we want to incorporate within our tool. As I pointed out, we already have this budgeting kind of a thing. What we are now going to do in our next version is, for example, you are creating a project, let the AI create a plan for you. The AI, when it creates a plan, no, it will consider multiple paths for a project. And then it will say, अच्छा, ये जो path है has the best profitability. And when it will say that, we will also be able to say, अच्छा, अगर कोई भी अपने optimal path according to you will have created, this is the X amount you will have saved with our AI now. That is what we are doing in version 2. As of now, we don't have it.
Why do you care for your solution? Why do you care you need to provide this to companies? Who are you?
Well, see, everyone whoever has their own company, they have to solve a problem. If they don't solve that problem, their company is not going to grow. For me, this problem of solving project management, of work management, of an agency, of a professional services firm is important because it will help my company grow. So if I don't care, my company won't grow. I won't grow. So I need to care and carry that way.
So, Shyamal, we have a tradition on our podcast. Last founder has left you a question, and we would like for you to leave a question for the next one. So, the question we have for you is, what component of the work you do is contributing to the sustainability of our country?
Oh, interesting question. A loaded question. Um, See, if we are able to make agencies, companies out there productive, I believe we will have done something to help the country grow. End of the day, even if one agency is being more productive, that adds to our economic value as a country, right? So that is how I believe we are helping the country also. My question will be